these are pretty simple questions. And, you know, we appreciate you joining us, but people just want to know what the plan is. I mean, gas prices all-time high, inflation at a 40-year high.
You know what?
The president in his piece makes the case that the economy is thriving.
Here's the deal. I just go through the plan, and you just pretend that I didn't say it. You just ignore it, and you just ask the same question. It's your show, if that's what you want to do. But when I'm going through this and you just interrupt, I don't see how that's helping your viewers. Now, you could say that you disagree
we gave you quite a bit of time
plan.
to explain.
By the way, last time I was on this show, you were upset because I was talking about the Rick Scott plan that was a leading Republican who was going to raise taxes. Right, and then you said, oh, that's not the plan. You don't have a plan to discuss on the Republican side. You have no plan.
Democrats are in
Out
leadership.
a plan that the president
and the
just
House,
laid
the Senate,
out.
The White House?
The president just laid out.
And you want the plan to come from
Republicans?
Republicans?
Laid out in the Wall Street Journal, and you just want to keep asking the same question. If millions of senior
pivot doesn't
Americans
help
and working
Americans
families, should
who can
we
barely
cap
fill their tank
$35
to go
insulin?
to work.
$10,000 get wiped off for anybody who's making less than $150,000 a year, or $300,000 if you're married and filing jointly.
This dead fish isn't smelling any better the older it gets. One reason this has taken so long for the administration to say something about it is they know it's fatally flawed. This is another very regressive suggestion. They're going to give money to people making 3 times the national median average. In household case, 4.5 times. 71% of the money goes to the top half of the income distribution. There's just no way to present this that it isn't a giveaway to people who don't need it and who freely took these obligations on. Of course, I believe that an equal unfairness is to all those millions of people who paid their debts back. 99% of our graduates at Purdue do pay them back. Not sure what I'm supposed to tell them when other people are let off the hook. So I think that among its other defects, gross unfairness of this is the worst. Here we were supposed to be concerned about income inequality and so forth, and this heads just the wrong direction.
I told the truth to the FBI, and the jury clearly recognized that with their unanimous verdict today. Despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case.
The problem for Durham is the jury and the judge. I mean, he is facing a jury that has 3 Clinton donors, an AOC donor, and a woman whose daughter is on the same sports team with Sussman's daughter. I mean, the exception of randomly selecting people out of the DNC headquarters, you could not come up with a worse jury.
Welcome to Washington, D.C.
Right.
All right.
Millions are hitting the road for the holiday weekend, sir, and they're paying record high gas prices. Truckers are feeling the pain. Grocery bills are sky high. What is the plan, sir, to bring these prices down?
Well, Sandra, I agree. I mean, we have the American families are confronting price increases. They're having a hard time dealing with their family budgets. Energy costs are way too high. The energy prices are not determined here in the United States, but we need to do more about it.
The White House considering something up to $10,000. There are people without a college degree wondering why those with a college degree are getting this help. I'll go through the numbers and then I'll ask for your response. So the latest research from Pew points out that 4 in 10 Americans aged 25 or older have a bachelor's degree or higher. Among that, as you know, for black American adults, for Hispanic adults, that number is much, much lower than 4 in 10. You also know there's a growing earnings gap between those who have a college degree and those who do not. The unemployment rate is lower for those that have a college degree compared to those who do not. So the question, Brian, that people are asking if they don't have a college degree right now is, who is that to help? Who are you doing that for? Why are you considering doing that? Who's it for, other than just energizing the base going into the midterms later this year?
Well, first, we should be trying to help everybody who wants to work get into a job that will give them pay and an upward mobility and opportunity to succeed. And one of the things we're seeing about having such a strong labor market recovery right now is we're seeing historic gains, not just overall, the largest decline in the unemployment rate in any recovery in recent history, but also record gains for blacks, record reduction in the unemployment rate, Hispanics, the largest reduction in the unemployment rate for Hispanics ever on record. So we're seeing that in the job market. We want to do more. A lot of that is about workplace training,
well, Brian, excuse me to jump in. I just want to nail down the point because you know this is important. As you know, and I'll repeat it, those with a college degree seem to be doing much, much better than those without. As you work out relief for the American people at the moment, why is there focus on $10,000 of student debt relief at a time when those people in America America who do not have a college degree are getting squeezed by gas prices. Crude again this morning at 118. JP Morgan saying gas could hit $6 later this year. You know the people that's hitting the most. Many of those do not have a college degree. Why is this administration focused on doing something which, let's face it, might play well in the midterms, but ultimately isn't going to help those people that need the help the most right now?
Yeah, my point is we're focused on trying to help everybody.
Listen, I know you saw, many people read this detailed list from the Washington Post in which headline here, U.S. policymakers misjudged inflation threat until it was too late. I want you to listen here to the president and to the Fed chairman, this is in 2021, about the threat of inflation.
Our experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.
I really do not expect that we'll be in a situation where inflation rises to troubling levels.
Those expectations clearly wrong. Does the White House acknowledge that it got it wrong for too long?
Well, look, what we understood about inflation at the time was that it was tied to yes, there have been unexpected challenges which have disrupted the natural getting us back to equilibrium, which would help bring down those prices.
Is this a reaction rather than the president getting ahead of this problem? I mean, you had your colleagues, Larry Summers from the Obama administration. You had Steve Rattner that were warning about inflation on the way well over a year ago, well before Putin invaded Ukraine.
I think that we have been where most experts around the world, including our Federal Reserve, including other central banks, have been, and we have always been focused on it. And
Larry Summers, who wrote on March 15th, 2021, quote, I believe the Fed has not internalized the magnitude of its errors over the past year, is operating with an inappropriate and dangerous framework, and needs to take far stronger action to support price stability than appears likely. Way back then, he was predicting stagflation and recession. And a question that I have is, do you know Summers very well? He used to work for President Obama. Why was no one listening to him?
Well, you just read a quote about Larry Summers, our former Secretary of Treasury under President Obama, critiquing the monetary policy of the Federal Reserve.
Warning that inflation was on the horizon and was going to rise up and bite us in the buttocks if we didn't do something about it.
That was his comment that you just quoted on the Federal Reserve. Now, I'm not going to comment on it because I just got done saying that we respect the independence of the Fed and that we are not in the exercise of berating them or second-guessing
But, Gene,
them.
it was a warning to everybody. It was a comment on the Fed, but it was a warning to everybody contained in a broader warning that Sandra knows all too well from Larry Summers. Inflation's on the horizon. This is going to bite us. We better do something about it. And nobody did anything except say, oh, it's transitory.
You know, I just disagree with that. And I could quote you 20, 30 other experts who had different projections, who thought inflation was coming down,